In this video, we're going to be talking about ex-employees taking work from you, what you can sort of do to prevent it. If it does happen to you, let us know below if you've been through this, if you've experienced ex-employees, apprentices leaving you, taking work with customers who've gone behind your back to approach them thinking it's going to be cheaper. Yeah, have a good listen, have a good think, drop a comment, drop a like if you can already, and I'll see you in the next one. Adam's going self-employed. He's going to sub to me for a few days a week, whether it be 2-3 days a week. He's already said on his channel, if anyone wants me to come do some work for him, sub it out to it, learn with some solar and whatnot. He's got a list longer than me that people want him to go and work for them and get paid a proper wage for it as what he's allowed now, which is really nice. So
a weight off your shoulders in a way to
a little bit, yeah, because I told him I can't afford to pay him what he wants. Not that we've ever had a proper sit-down chat about it. And he's not telling me I want £250 a day, because he knew it's not feasible for me to do that as let's say a one-man band and apprentice in my area to charge on upwards of what would be nearly £500 a day labour for 2 sparks to just go and do bits, unless we're doing a rewire when you can go, yeah, it's justifiable because it's a graft and you're there all the time. But for what it is, changing extractor fans over, which we do day in, day out, changing light fittings over, doing garden, right? You can't expect anyone around my area to pay for that. So his thing, what we said, come with me for a couple of days a week. I'm not going to pay you a full wage, what you're going to be charging as you're going out by yourself and charging people, because I physically still, again, I don't have the jobs. And I might do sometimes when I have rewires, or let's say there's 2 boards to change in the day. I'll go, you go do that one for me and I'll do this one. But it's just not feasible. Like, the money isn't there to do that. And he understands that. And we're having a good chat about it tomorrow in the van, because we're working Castle Donington area. It's about an hour and a bit from us. But then this leads me on to the next thing, which is I've had a lot of messages with people having issues with apprentices that have become qualified or ex-employees stealing work. And when I took Adam on, I had so many people saying, oh, was he going to, because they didn't know Adam personally, and not now, because they'd all go, yeah, Adam wouldn't do that. Well, I hope he wouldn't. I don't believe he wouldn't. But what's your take on when you employ someone or you qualify an apprentice, spend 4 years training them up for them to go behind your back and start stealing your work? Have you ever heard of this or gone through it yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always a risk, isn't it? That someone's going to have the ambition to think, you know what, I'm going to just go it alone now that I've got enough experience under my belt. I'm going to give it a whirl and see if I can't make this work for myself and earn more money. And there's a couple of things to say about that. First of all, I know of a landscape gardening firm. They're out of business now. My brother-in-law used to run it before he kicked the bucket in 2019, but he had a couple of lads working for him, and they were always complaining about how much they were paid and that they had to work too hard and it wasn't worth their time and all that kind of stuff. And in the end, one of them thought, you know what, I'm going to go it alone. I can do it. I don't need you guys here to telling me what to do. I'm going to do it myself. But of course, going from a company that designs and plans a landscaping layout, gets in all the materials, deals with all the groundwork, all the permits, the skip hire, the dealing with the customers themselves to sell them, you know, a £20,000 makeover, a £30,000 makeover, whatever. That's a completely different kettle of fish. And this guy was just a labourer. He could go around pushing a wheelbarrow and breaking wind all day. He couldn't run a business, and he just went in and did little jobs, laying slabs, cash in hand, and that was all he was good for. You don't necessarily. You could be great on the tools, great at what you do, but that doesn't mean you can launch yourself into running a business. But these things happen, and you also get some of the big contractors, who perhaps when they take on apprentices, shield them from certain aspects of the work, like inspection and testing. They want them there doing a lot of the grunt work because it's cheap labour, and they don't want them getting ahead of themselves and getting too much knowledge or confidence that they might then use as leverage to go and get a better job elsewhere.
Yeah.
But you know, it depends. For someone like you or someone like myself, if I were to take an apprentice, which I won't because I don't want another mouth to feed. But it, for people like us, if we did have that kind of person under our wing, as you have with Adam, it's a closer relationship. It's you are quite happy to pass on that information, that knowledge, that confidence.
It's all down to trust.
Because if you've got that kind of close relationship, there's also some trust there that they're not going to just pull your pants down one day and scarf. But it's always a risk that it might happen.
Yeah, and we've already had one customer. One customer's already approached Adam behind my back and asked Adam if he would take over the work that was ongoing at this person's house. And he said, no, not interested, thank you. It's Nick's job. I wouldn't do that. And then he came and told me afterwards, whether or not for brownie points or what, I don't know. And so I still have to go back to this customer's house and be like, knowing they've asked that just because they think it'll be cheaper. But what they don't know is Adam will probably charge them the same thing what I would do now. I don't know how he's going to go about his price and stuff. I've given him much advice over the years that as I can. And every time I've had a job, I've handed him, I print it off or give him my iPad and go, there's my trader file, there's my invoices, my quote, whatever. Feel free, have a look through it. I don't care in the slightest if you know how much I charge to how much you're getting paid, because I'd rather teach him that way, because no one was ever there for me. I had to make pricing up like you did, probably just from the top of your head and think, what can I earn? What's the best way to outprice myself, or I want to make sure I earn enough money. It's a really difficult game to get right.
Yeah, and it depends on how much work you've got coming in as well, doesn't it? So again, I've never felt like I've got it right. And in my early days, I remember saying to another guy, "Oh, if it's a new customer, I'll give them a preferential price, a cheaper price than I would ordinarily." He said, "Oh, no, no, don't do that for goodness sake, because they'll expect that going forward." And I have
Yeah.
had that once before. I recall a job where Dior and I were on actually. This was in 2016, where someone's bathroom pull cord switch had broken. And it was a Friday afternoon. We were in the area. We went and did a quick replacement, charged them just a small fee, didn't charge them the price listed on the website. And then this person called us back in for another job. And because that was there was
Yeah.
more meat to it, we charged what the website said. And he was livid. He was like, how can you charge me so much more for this job when you charged me this much last time? So we kind of shot ourselves in the foot on that one.
No.
You've got to sort of, as I said at the start, you've got to set your sort of pricing, what works for you, what makes you think at the end of the day, okay, that was worth it. That was worth me getting out of bed. And I've got to say that over this past few months with Nige, a lot of the time it hasn't been worth it, because we've been kind of getting a bit lazy. My accountant actually called me in yesterday for a bit of a chat.
Oh, God.
So yeah, but it's now that Nige is, because the trouble with having someone on the van is you've got to cover their wage, of course. And for Nige, I'm not going to say what it is, but it was a three-figure sum. And that's every day you wake up, and that's three
You
figures that you've got to
you have to
cover.
earn before any money goes in your pocket.
Yeah, before anybody goes in my pocket, before anybody goes in the business's pocket. Because remember, it's my wages as well, and the
Yeah.
business has hopefully got to make a profit in it, because it's got so many expenses to cover. Just driving around, the van is going to take up a load of diesel and cost money. So you've got a certain amount of expenses to cover per day. So the moment you wake up, you're like, right, okay, I've got to
You're
make
down.
X amount today
Yeah.
just to break even.
Yeah.
And now that's not the case anymore. And that's kind of a weight off my mind. I decided at the start of the year that, I've had enough of this, enough of just covering this. So I said to Nigel, it's time to start looking elsewhere. And thankfully, he's got something pretty decent by the sounds of it.
Well, he's got something decent. It's something that he wants to do. And like I say, if you're sick of
Yeah.
crawling through lofts and chasing stuff out and getting dirty, it's something perfect for him, because
Yeah, absolutely.
he's
Yeah,
not a
he's
young
going to get
guy
an easier
anymore.
life for more money.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, it takes
And
the
more
stress off you.
benefits. And it's closer to home. So, he's quids in on that, and good luck to him. But from my point of view, I'm quite happy to keep calm and carry on. But I now know that when I wake up in the morning, if I only go and work for an hour, that's money in my pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have quite so many expenses to cover, and that's something that's hopefully going to keep me off the booze,
Keep you off the booze.
which is
Do
my
some more
coping
YouTube videos.
mechanism.
All right, Dale, I've got less than a minute left. Thank you very much. If everyone's interested in more of these, where we have a laugh and we talk about something intellectual and we don't slag loads of things off, which is nice. I know they'll watch this. Don't you worry at all. But yeah, let us know any other topics or subjects you want us to cover and go through. Drop it below. Thank you for watching. Dave's channel will be tagged in below. He's on, what are you on, 32, 35?
I can't remember.
It's around the 30K.
Like that.
Go and drop him a sub. All right. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.